So in this video I will be discussing with you all about trip distribution. As you all are aware that we have been discussing about the four-staged transport forecasting model, out of which the first stage was trip generation analysis, and this would be the second stage, that is trip distribution. These basics I had already discussed in the class, but as a part of revision I'll just brush up through the basics of trip distribution. So in the beginning you are supposed to understand about what trip distribution is actually about. So after estimating the total trip generated and attracted, we must determine the direction of travel. So basically, to understand the directions in which the travels are happening in any given region among two or different number of zones, you need to estimate the trips generated and attracted and determine their directions. So the trip generated in every zone must be apportioned with respect to some basics and some basic notations that we are supposed to take. So in case if for a region GI is denoted as the number of trip ends generated in zone I. So there are basically two zones which we are considering. Zone I is considered to be as the zone from where the trip is getting generated, and zone J is considered to be as the zone where the trips are getting attracted. So if GI denotes the number of trip ends generated in zone I, and if AJ denotes the number of trip ends attracted to zone J, then the trip distribution stage determines the total number of trips, which is again denoted as Tij. Now this was small gi and small aj. Therefore, in the present state, if we are trying to do the analysis, the total number of trip distribution that is happening in the form of number of trips taking place, it would be small tij. Now if I try to represent this process in the form of a matrix, it would look somewhat like this. So if along the y-axis we have the trips generated or the generation zones, and if along the x-axis we have the attraction zones, which are represented as zone 1, zone 2, zone 3, zone 4, going on till zone I. Similarly, along the x-axis we have zone 1, zone 2, zone 3, zone 4, so on till zone J. It might go till N as well. Okay, so within this matrix, whatever contents we are going to show, that is denoted as the OD matrix. Now if I am wanting to find out GI and AJ correspondingly, you can take an example of any two such zones wherein the trips are taking place. Suppose if there are trips getting generated from zone 3 and getting terminated in zone 3 again, then the total number of trips happening between zone 3 and zone 3, that is within zone 3, represents T33. On the other hand, if the trips are getting generated from zone 4 and getting terminated in zone 2, then the total number of trips happening would be represented as small t42. So within this OD matrix, for every such situation we will be creating such OD matrix and doing the analysis. Now to have a general equation that can be developed for AJ and GI, the same process, if we try to generalize, the equation for AJ would be equal to summation of all the trips happening from I to J, where A ranges from 1 to n. Similarly, GI is equal to summation of all the trips happening from I to J, where I is ranging between 1 to n. Here J is ranging between 1 to n. and here I is ranging between 1 to n. So these are the total number of trips happening between the zones represented as attractions and generations. Okay, so with this basic, I think we already had a discussion on the various methods of trip distribution that are available for studies. So there are basically two types of trip distribution methods on a broader context. One is the growth factor method and the other one is the synthetic method. So if you remember clearly, we had discussed which are the various forms of growth factor methods that are available for trip distribution, and also we had discussed about the various methods available for trip distribution under synthetic methods. So in short, it is termed as GFM, and synthetic method or methods are termed as SM. So under growth factor methods, we have uniform factor method, average factor method, Fraters method, and then furnace method. Talking about synthetic methods, we have gravity model, Tenar's model, intervening opportunity model, and then competing opportunity model. Now we shall be discussing each one of these, that is growth factor method as well as synthetic method, in detail. Now before we start discussing each of these methods in detail, you need to have an understanding that growth factor methods are suitable for small studies, for small regions, because these calculations that we do in these methods, that is growth factor methods, it needs lot of calculations, manual calculations, which will consume lot of time. So because of the time constraint, we face the problem of laboriousness, and hence it can be applicable only to small studies. The second point that we need to remember about growth factor method is that we assume that the present travel pattern can be projected to the design year with certain expansion factor. So if you remember, I had told you what this expansion factor is in the class. So expansion factor is basically the growth factor that we are going to assume for any given region of study. So mathematically we represent this as capital Tij is equal to small tij multiplied by E, where E is the growth factor. So any present number of trips that are happening between zone I and zone J, when multiplied with the respective growth factor, you will be getting something called as capital Tij. Now this capital Tij is the total number of trips for the design year that is going to happen in future. So if we want to estimate the total number of trips that will happen in future, we need to multiply the present number of trips with a suitable growth factor. So capital Tij is the number of trips for the design year, small tij is the number of trips for the base year. Okay. So moving ahead, we shall briefly discuss about the basics of synthetic method, the second type of trip distribution technique what we have. So this particular synthetic method, or the methods that come under this category, uses the existing data to develop relationship between the trip making process and the attractiveness of the zones corresponding to the resistance to travel between the zones. Now what this means is, whenever there is trip making happening between the zones, there will be certain number of attractions between the zones, and it might not happen to the extent what you will be expecting. That is, it might be because of various resistances between the zones. So the resistance to travel between the zones also will be analyzed in this synthetic method of trip distribution. So we shall be discussing about the synthetic methods in the later part. Now let's concentrate on the first method of trip distribution that happens using uniform or constant factor method. Now even this we had discussed in the class. So as a revision, I would like to give some basics about it. So uniform factor method is what we will be discussing here. So uniform factor or constant factor method is considered as the oldest growth factor method, and we assume that the growth rate will be valid for the whole area to predict future trips. So it means that if there is some growth rate happening within some part of the region, then it is expected to be constant among every single zones or subzones what we have in the studied area. So growth factor is assumed to be constant in the whole area, which might not be practical. Also, it assumes a single growth rate or growth factor for the whole area, as I told you, to predict the future number of trips with respect to the base year trips. Now there is a simple example which we can take, which is also available in the textbook as I had suggested. It's in the textbook by Dr. L.R. Kadiali on traffic engineering and transport planning, the details of which you can study from that textbook. So if you remember, we had solved this problem in the class, wherein a OD matrix will be given to you somewhat like this. So in this particular simple problem, we have considered three zones, zone 1, 2 and 3. Now for these three zones, we will be developing a OD matrix where origin or generation will be along y-axis and destination or attraction will be along the x-axis. So zone 1, zone 2, zone 3, zone 1, zone 2, zone 3. Now this matrix what we have has number of elements into it. Each one of these elements that you see in this OD matrix represents the total number of trips happening either within the zone or between the zones. For example, the trips happening within zone 1 and zone 1. Okay, so attraction is from zone 1, destination also is in zone 1. So the total number of trips that is happening or that are happening is 60. On the other hand, if the origin is zone 1 and destination is zone 2, the total number of trips happening here is 100. Similarly, trips originating from zone 1 and getting attracted to zone 3 is 200. So in this form, a OD matrix will be prepared and you would be possibly being given future trips that are expected in the region. So in zone 1, the future trip that might be expected is being given as 360. For zone 2 it is given as 1260 and for zone 3 it is 3120. So these are the future trips that is expected to happen in all these zones. So with this target future trip, we are going to do the trip distribution analysis. So to begin with the trip distribution analysis, you need to again create a matrix like this, OD matrix, with an inclusion of two new columns representing the present total number of trips and the future total number of trips that are getting generated, that is I, from zone I. Okay, so all these elements are going to remain the same. Now what we need to do is to have the present number of total trips happening in zone 1, you need to sum up these elements. 60 plus 100 plus 200 is 360. 100 plus 20 plus 300 is 420. 200 plus 300 plus 20 is 520. So these elements that you can see in this column of small ti are the total number of trips that are happening in the present state, okay, under individual circumstances. So summation small ti would be the sum of all these contents. So 360 plus 420 plus 520 is 1300. Now on the other hand, as I told you, you would be given the target So you would be given the target future number of trips that will be happening or that is expected to happen. So for zone 1 in future there is expected to be around 360 trips. From zone 2 there is expected to be around 1260 trips, and from zone 3 we are expecting around 3120 trips to take place. So the sum total of all these, that is summation capital TI, is 4740. So these are the total number of trips. Now to do the trip distribution, we need to match this 1300 with 4740. Now when we know the present number of total trips and the future total trips, the ratio of the future total trips to the present total trip will give us a factor, and this factor is E, and this is the growth factor. Now once you have got the growth factor as 3.646, we will create one more OD matrix somewhat like this, and in this OD matrix all these contents that you have seen would be the multiplication of these elements with the corresponding growth factor. So 60 multiplied by 3.646, you will get somewhat around 218. So like this you will be multiplying all the existing elements with the respective growth factor what we have got. Okay, so once you multiply the existing trips with the growth factor, the new elements would look somewhat like this. So again we will be creating two new columns, capital TI calculated and capital TI given in the problem or in the question. So these are the target trips that are expected to happen in future. So again, the total number of trips generating from zone 1 is the sum of this element, and this element, which is 1312. Similarly, sum of all the trips from zone 2 is 1532, and sum of all the elements from zone 3 is 1896. So if you sum them up again like this, the answer that you get is 4740, which is similar to the total number of trips that is expected to happen in future. But if you have a closer look with the calculated future trips with the given future trips, there's a lot of difference between them, even though the total sum is having a match. So as per your calculation, you have obtained the total number of trips generated from zone 1 as 1312. The given target is 360. So you can see there's a huge difference between these two. Similarly between these two and also between these two. Isn't it? So that's the drawback of this particular method. Right? So this is the characteristic observation of the growth factor method or uniform growth factor method that we have observed. So what this says is, though the trips are distributed with the same total number of future trips calculated and given, the total trips generated in each zone does not tally with each other. That is, the calculated TI does not tally for each zone with the expected future trips for that particular zone. So corresponding to this, I have listed some of the disadvantages of uniform growth factor method. The first disadvantage is the assumption of uniform growth rate for the entire area is not practical. Having a uniform factor for the whole area is impractical, which might not be possible. Now I have been giving you plenty of examples of Bangalore city itself. So we have plenty of areas in Bangalore city. The growth that is happening in that is happening in each of these different areas might not be the same. Different areas will be growing at different rates. So assuming that the whole of Bangalore is going to develop at the same pace is not practical. Also, it underestimates the movement in limited developed areas. So in case if there is an area which is having a very less number of trips that are getting generated in the present state, using this method it predicts that in future also it will be having less number of trips getting generated, and accordingly the distribution gets affected. Or on the other hand, it sometimes overestimates the movement in overdeveloped areas, which again is not practically possible. On the other hand, if you take a circumstance where there are no trips happening or getting generated from one particular zone, and if you try to do the trip distribution, it estimates to be 0 in future as well. Now that would be like, if you had 0 trips here, then in future even this would be 0. So that kind of situation will be seen when you use this uniform growth factor method, which is again a disadvantage. Now let us move to the next growth factor method as per the list which was shown to you earlier. The second growth factor method under trip distribution process is average factor method. So what we do here is the growth factor for each zone is calculated based on the average of growth factors for both trip ends, that is origin and destinations. So what it means is, rather than having a single growth factor as in the previous method, you will be taking an average of all the origin growth factors and average of all the destination growth factors. So you will be having two such growth factors in this. So you will understand about what is going to happen here when we start solving the problem. So before we start solving the problem, you need to know that mathematically the average factor method is represented as capital Tij. So this capital Tij is the future number of trips that are going to take place between I and j, which need to be found out. Okay, so capital Tij is equal to small tij multiplied by Ej plus Ei divided by 2. So this is the average of growth factor. So there are two growth factors here. One is the destination growth factor and the other one is the origin growth factor. So origin growth factor is denoted by capital Ti and destination growth factor is denoted by capital Ej. So average of these two will be again multiplied with the total number of trips happening in the present state. So this is the denotation that is being shown again. So capital Tij is the future trips from zone I to zone j. Small tij is the present trips from zone I to j. Eij is the growth factor, or sorry, Ei is the growth factor for trips generated from zone I, and Ej is the growth factor for the trips attracted to zone j. Now again, Ei is said to be equal to the ratio between capital Pi and small pi, where capital Pi is the future trip generated from I and small pi is the present trip generated from I. Similarly, Ej is the ratio of capital Aj to small aj, where Aj, capital Aj is the future attracted trips for zone j and small aj is the present attracted trips for zone J. Okay, so you need to remember this equation and each one of these components that are there in the equation. Now using this equation we shall be doing some problem solving, and before we start with the problem I would like to explain what the actual process of trip distribution happens uh, using this particular technique. So after distribution it will be observed that when the distribution process is happening, it will be observed that this is just a gist of what your problem would look like when you are solving it. So when you start doing the trip distribution process, after the distribution is done, it will be observed that the sum of the trips from zone I will not be equal to the projected trips in zone I. Okay. Similarly, the sum of the trips in zone J will not be equal to the projected trips in zone J. So uh, this is where you need to understand that we need to apply something called as iteration process or reiteration process. That is, when you are doing the trip distribution analysis, since you observe these things happening, you might have to repeat the whole process with the new growth factors that will be averaged and taken into consideration to normalize the solution. So this is where the iteration is needed with Ei and Ej, which need to be reproduced. So the reproduced Ei and Ej would look somewhat like this. So mathematically we denote it as capital Ei dash and capital Ej dash. So capital Ei dash is equal to capital Pi dash divided by small pi dash. Similarly, capital Ej dash is equal to capital Aj dash divided by small aj dash. Now this equation is same as the ones that I already have explained to you. So you might be knowing what is pi, capital Pi and small pi. So these are the new ones that we are taking into consideration. So this iteration process, okay, wherein you are getting new growth factors, will be used to recalculate the contents into it, and the process of recalculation is called as iteration. So that iteration is carried out till the growth factor approaches plus or minus close to 1. Okay, so this concept would be much clear to you when we start discussing about the problem uh, related to this technique. So even here, for better understanding, I have considered the same situation what we had discussed, or same problem what we had discussed in method 1, that is the constant factor method or uniform factor method. So here you will be given a OD matrix like this in the problem. Corresponding to that, you will be given the future number of trips. Again, these are the same which has been taken from the previous problem. So in this OD matrix, you have the existing trips or trip elements that are happening between zone 1, 2 and 3 as origin and destination. So the problem would look similar to what was shown to you in the previous method. I have directly jumped into the second step of the problem. So imagine this would be the matrix that would be given to you. You will be including two new columns and two new rows. The first new column here is of small pi, and then the next column here is capital Pi. I think you already know what small pi and capital Pi is, right? So small pi is the present trips generated for zone I, capital Pi is the future trips generated for zone I. Okay, keeping this in mind, and directly move into the calculations. So the first new column is for small pi, second new column is for capital P. Similarly, new row for small aj and a new row for capital Aj. Again, the process would be similar to the previous one. You need to sum up all these elements, which would give you the total number of trips that are getting generated or getting attracted from zone pi. So the total number of trips that are getting generated from zone 1 is 360, from zone 2 is 420, from zone 3 it is 520. So I think you already are aware of how this 360, 420 and 520 has come. 60 plus 100 plus 200 is 360. Similarly, 100 plus 20 plus 300 is 420, and then 200 plus 300 plus 20 is 520. So these are the total number of trips that are getting generated from zone I. On similar grounds, you will be calculating the total number of trips that are getting attracted to zone J. So 60 plus 100 plus 20 is 360. Summation of all these is 420 and summation of all these is 520. Sum total of all these, that is sum of Aj, is equal to 1300 and sum of Pi again is 1300. That means that whatever trip that is getting generated is getting attracted among these three zones itself. So that is 1300. Now the second new column has the target future number of trips, which is going to remain the same again along Aj. So summation of Aj is again 4740. Summation of Pi, capital Pi, is again 4740. You need to distribute the trips such that this 1300 becomes close to 4740. Alright. Now, along with these new columns, you need to include one more column along the y-axis and x-axis. As I had told you, you will be having two separate growth factors, one growth factor for origin and the other growth factor for destination. So origin growth factor is the ratio of capital Pi and small pi. Destination growth factor is the ratio of capital Aj and small aj. So how do we get this Ej value and Ei value for each one of these zones? So ratio between 360, that is capital Pi, and small pi is 1 for zone 1. Similarly, ratio between 1260 and 420 is 3. On the other hand, the ratio of 3120 and 520 is 6. So in this way, you will be calculating the origin growth factors and then the destination growth factors, which is almost the same for both the cases. Now once you have got these growth factors, we shall move to the next part. So we shall be calculating the new OD matrix elements using the basic equation which I had already discussed with you before starting this problem. Suppose if I am calculating the trips happening within zone 1, that is origin is 1, destination is 1. Okay, so Ej plus Ei divided by 2 multiplied by Tij. So if you look into this, if I am trying to find out capital Ti for 1 1, then small Tij is 60, isn't it? And what is its corresponding growth factors? So if you closely see here, the growth factor here is 1 and 1. Okay, so 60 multiplied by 1 plus 1 divided by 2, you will be getting 60. Similarly, the total future number of trips capital Tij for origin as 1 and destination as 2. that is capital TI, future number of trips between zone 1 and zone 2, is equal to 200. From zone 1 to zone 3 it is 700. Then from zone 2 to zone 1 is 260. Zone 2 to zone 2 is 60. Zone 2 to zone 3 it is 1350. So in this way I will be calculating all the matrix elements individually, and I would be getting a new matrix somewhat like this. Okay, so these are the new calculated trip or trip elements that you can say. So you will be recreating a OD matrix somewhat like this, with origin zones along the y-axis and destination zones along the x-axis. So all the new elements will be filled in. Okay. So once it is being filled in, again you will be including these components along the x-axis and along the y-axis. In the previous step you had just small pi, but here it would be small pi dash. Here it would be capital Pi dash, and similarly here it would be Ei dash, which is the ratio of capital Pi dash and small pi dash. So these are the new growth factors for origin and new growth factors for destination. Okay. Now the process of determining small pi's or small pi dash and capital Pi dash remains the same as we did in step 1. So you can see that when you sum up all these together, that is summation of small pi's and small aj's would be 4740. Summation of capital pi's and capital aj's is also 4740. Okay, so there is a match. Now this match took place because you reiterated the process, and the errors which were getting piled up will be normalized. Okay, now that is evident when you have a look at the growth factors here. So ratio of 360 and 960 is 0.375. Ratio of 1260 and 1610 is 0.782. Similarly 1.437 and so on, even here. So you can observe the growth factors here, that all these growth factors are close to 1, and that is what was the intention. So you need to do the iteration process until and unless you get to see that the growth factors for destinations and growth factors of origin are plus or minus close to 1. So if you still feel that we are not satisfied with the solution, you need to reiterate the process. Now the reiteration process for the third step would be multiplying these elements with the average of this and this. Okay, so the process remains the same and it still continues. So looking into this particular method, it has its own disadvantage. So the disadvantages of average factor method is being discussed here. So the first one is that it has similar disadvantage as the uniform factor method, or the first method that we had. Secondly, multiplying the factor has no significance and is just to balance the movements. So whatever multiplication of the trip elements you are doing with the average of the growth factors is just to balance the movements, and there is no explanation for the movement between the zones. Along with that, there is no explanation for the factor causing the movements also. So you are just multiplying and giving the answer. There is no reason for why it is happening. As we had seen in the previous method, that if the present trip is 0, the future trip also is 0, which is totally impractical. That's the disadvantage. So about Fratter's method, I'll be discussing in the next